Welcome back to English Learning Podcast, the podcast that helps you improve your English listening and speaking skills in a relaxed and comfortable way.
That's right. Grab a cup of tea, find a cozy spot, and get ready to boost your English confidence without any pressure.
Today, we're tackling a place that can sometimes feel a little overwhelming, especially if you're traveling to a new country and speaking English, the airport.
Airports are bustling hubs of activity. There's so much happening. Check-in, security, finding your gate, maybe grabbing a coffee, or dealing with customs on arrival. All these steps require specific English phrases and understanding unique airport vocabulary.
And sometimes the speed or the official nature of the conversations can make you feel a bit nervous. But don't worry, with a little preparation, you can navigate the airport feeling much more at ease.
Exactly. That's why today we're going to follow a traveler named Jessica on her journey through the airport from the moment she arrives until she's safely on the plane and then exiting at her destination.
We'll hear her interact with different airport staff and even another passenger. We'll play the full conversation first, just for you to listen and get a feel for the flow. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Just try to understand the main points of each interaction.
After you've heard the full conversation, we'll go back and break down each part, explaining the important vocabulary, common phrases, and useful tips you can use yourself the next time you're traveling.
So, lean back, close your eyes if you like, and listen to Jessica's airport adventure.
All right, everyone. Now that we've heard Jessica's journey from arriving at the airport to checking in, going through security, finding her gate, and finally landing and going through customs, let's break down what happened and explain the important things, words, and phrases you heard.
First, Jessica arrives at the airport, and she needs to find the check-in counter for her airline, British Airways.
She looks at her ticket and reads out some important information. Flight BA286 to London, Terminal 3. These are key details for navigating the airport.
That's really important. Let's break down what those numbers and letters mean. The flight number, like BA286, is the unique identifier for your specific flight. It's how the airline and the airport track your journey. Different flights going to the same city on the same day will have different flight numbers. In this case, BA is likely the airline code for British Airways, which is the name of the airline Jessica is flying with.
And Terminal 3 refers to a specific building or section of the airport. Large airports often have multiple terminals because they handle many different airlines and destinations. Think of it like different buildings or areas dedicated to certain groups of flights. You might see signs for Terminal 1, Terminal 2, Terminal 3, and so on.
Each terminal usually serves specific airlines or destinations to help organize the millions of passengers who travel every day. It's super important to read your ticket carefully or check your online booking details to know which terminal your flight departs from. Going to the wrong terminal can cause a lot of stress.
Exactly. Jessica did well by checking her ticket, but then she realized she was a bit lost. This is a very common feeling in large, unfamiliar places like airports. So she decided to ask for help.
This is a perfect example of how it's always okay to ask for help, especially when you're in a busy environment and you're not sure where to go. Jessica politely asked an airport staff member, "Excuse me, I'm a bit lost. Could you tell me where the check-in counters for British Airways are, please?"
That's a great phrase to use. Excuse me is a polite way to get someone's attention. And I'm a bit lost clearly explains your situation. Then, could you tell me where, please, is a very standard and polite way to ask for directions. Remember to add please to make it extra polite.
The staff member gave clear directions. They mentioned, "Go straight down this main hall, past the food court on your left." This shows you that airports use lots of signs and landmarks to help you find your way.
Yes, you'll see big, clear signs with arrows pointing to different areas like terminals, gates, baggage claim, restaurants, shops, toilets, and so on. They might also refer to specific areas within a terminal like Zone C, which the agent mentioned.
Zone C is just a specific area within Terminal 3 where British Airways check-in counters are located. Think of it like a section or zone. Airports are full of these zones, often labeled A, B, C, D, etc. They help manage the flow of people and make it easier to find specific airlines or gates.
The key takeaway here is, if you're lost or unsure, don't be afraid to ask an airport staff member or even another passenger. Most people are happy to help tourists. Look for staff in uniforms or at information desks.
Right. So, Jessica found the British Airways check-in counters. This is the next step in her journey. At the check-in counter, you officially inform the airline that you are ready to fly, and they verify your identity and flight details.
Jessica greeted the agent and said, "Good morning, I'm checking in for the flight to London. Here's my passport."
Checking in is the process of registering for your flight. You usually need to present your passport or identification.
The agent confirmed her details, saying, "All right, Jessica Smith, flight BA286 to London, Heathrow. Is that correct?"
It's important to listen carefully and confirm that they have the correct information for you.
Then the agent asked about her luggage. "And do you have any luggage to check in today?" As we mentioned before, luggage, baggage, or simply bags or suitcases are all terms for the items you are traveling with. To check in luggage means to give your large bags to the airline so they can be transported in the plane's cargo area.
Jessica confirmed she had one suitcase. She also asked about the weight limit. This is a very common concern for travelers. Airlines have rules about how heavy your checked bags can be. If your bag is too heavy, you might have to pay extra fees. Jessica correctly remembered the limit was probably around 23 kilos for economy class on British Airways.
The agent confirmed the weight limit and asked her to place the suitcase on the scale to weigh it. Fortunately, Jessica's suitcase was within the limit at 22 kilos. The agent said, "Perfect, 22 kilos, that's fine." This confirms the weight is acceptable.
The agent also asked if she was happy with her assigned seat, 14A, which was a window seat. This is a good time to request a different seat if you have a preference, like an aisle seat, usually labeled with letters like C or D, depending on the plane, or a seat with extra legroom, sometimes called an exit row seat, but be aware there are specific requirements for sitting there.
Jessica was happy with the window seat. Then the agent gave her the most important document. Here's your boarding pass. The boarding pass is your ticket to get on the plane. It contains all the essential information for your journey.
Yes, your boarding pass will show your name, flight number, destination, seat number, and, crucially, your gate number and boarding time. The agent told Jessica her gate was G12 and boarding started at 9:30 a.m.
The gate number is the specific door at the airport where you will enter the plane. It's usually a letter followed by a number, like G12 or A5. The boarding time is the time when passengers are scheduled to begin entering the plane. It's important to arrive at your gate before the boarding time, not right at that moment.
Airports are big, and it can take time to get from security to your gate, especially if your gate is far away. So knowing your gate and boarding time is essential for managing your time effectively at the airport.
Speaking of time management, after check-in, the next big step is security. Jessica asked, "Do I go straight through security now?" This is the correct question to ask.
The agent directed her to security, which was just around the corner to your left. Again, notice the simple directions using common prepositions and landmarks.
The agent going through security is a standard and necessary part of air travel designed to ensure everyone's safety by checking for prohibited items. It can sometimes feel a bit stressful, but it's a routine process.
The security staff have a set of rules they need to follow, and they give instructions to passengers to help the process go smoothly. You heard the security officer give instructions like, "Next person, please. Have your boarding pass ready. Always have your boarding pass easily accessible."
They also told Jessica to remove all electronics from your bag, especially laptops and tablets, and to place them in a separate tray.
This is a common requirement because large electronics need to be scanned separately for security reasons. Another common instruction is about liquids. The officer said, "And any liquids in a clear plastic bag on top." There are strict rules about liquids in carry-on bags. They usually must be in containers of 100 milliliters or less and fit into a single clear, resealable plastic bag. You place this bag in the tray with your electronics.
The officer also instructed Jessica to take off your jacket, shoes, and anything from your pockets. Place them all in a bin.
This is because clothing items, especially jackets and shoes, and things in your pockets, like coins, keys, phones, can contain metal or other materials that will trigger the metal detector or scanner.
A bin here refers to the plastic container provided at security checkpoints, where you put your loose items, bags, electronics, jackets, and shoes to send them through the X-ray scanner.
After you've put everything in the bins and trays, you walk through the scanner. You heard the whirring sound as Jessica went through. Sometimes, the scanner might make a beep sound, indicating a potential issue. Or, a security officer might ask you to step aside for a quick check or a body checkup. This means they will perform a more detailed inspection of your body or clothing, sometimes using a handheld scanner or a light pat-down.
Jessica sounded a bit concerned when she was asked to step back, asking, "Oh, is everything okay? Did something alarm?" It's natural to feel a little anxious, but the officer quickly reassured her. Just a quick check.
They then asked her to step into the side booth, arms up please. This is standard procedure for a more detailed scan or check. You simply follow their instructions.
After the quick check, the officer confirmed she was okay, saying, "All right, you're all clear. Thank you for your cooperation." "You're all clear" means you have passed the security check and there are no issues. Cooperation means working together and following instructions, which is important during security.
Jessica then asked, "Can I collect my bag now?" The officer confirmed, yes, everything's coming through, meaning her bins with her belongings were coming out of the scanner on the other side.
Once you are through the scanner and the officer confirms you are clear, you can collect your belongings from the trays on the other side of the machine. Make sure you collect all your personal belongings, everything you put in the bins.
So, that's the security process. It can seem daunting, but it's just a series of steps to follow. The most important things are to listen carefully to the security officers and follow their instructions precisely.
After security, Jessica needed to find her gate, G12. She double-checked the flight information screen. These large screens are located throughout the airport after security and are incredibly useful.
They are your best friend at the airport. They list flights by airline and destination, showing the flight number, the gate number, the time, and the status. The status tells you if the flight is on time, delayed, or boarding.
Jessica found her flight, BA286, to London and confirmed the gate, G12, and the boarding time, 9:30 a.m. She also checked the status, which said on time. This is a good habit to get into, as gates or times can sometimes change.
Since she had about an hour before boarding, she decided to use the extra time. This is smart. Airports are usually filled with shops, cafes, and restaurants after security. It's a good opportunity to relax, maybe grab something to eat or drink.
Jessica went to a cafe and ordered a small latte. This is a common coffee drink, like a coffee with steamed milk. Ordering food or drinks is a simple transaction you can practice. The barista told her the price, $4.50, and she paid.
Then the barista said, "Here's your latte. Enjoy." Simple, polite phrases used in everyday transactions. Even small interactions like this are great for practicing your English.
After enjoying her latte and keeping an eye on the time and the flight information screens for any announcements, Jessica headed to her gate, G12.
At the gate, you will find a gate agent. When it's time to board, they will check your boarding pass and passport again. You heard the gate agent say, "Good morning. Boarding pass and passport, please."
You present your documents, and they will scan your boarding pass. This officially checks you onto the plane at the gate. The agent confirmed Jessica was all set, which means she was ready.
They also confirmed her seat number. Your seat is 14A, and directed her, go straight down the jet bridge. The jet bridge is that enclosed walkway that connects the airport gate directly to the plane, so you don't have to walk outside.
Once you're on the plane, you'll usually be greeted by a flight attendant, also known as cabin crew. They'll often say, "Welcome aboard." They are there to assist passengers and ensure safety during the flight.
The flight attendant reminded Jessica to find your seat and stow your carry-on luggage, please. Find your seat means locating the seat number printed on your boarding pass. Stow your carry-on luggage means putting your smaller bag in the designated storage area, either under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartment, the bins above the seats.
Jessica looked for her seat. She remembered her seat number was 14A. She counted down the row numbers to find row 14. The letter A indicated her seat position in the row.
In most airplanes, seats are arranged in rows with letters. A is usually a window seat. B is often a middle seat, and C is usually an aisle seat if there are 3 seats in a row. On larger planes with more seats per row, you might have letters up to F or even L, with certain letters always indicating window or aisle seats. It's useful to know this to quickly find your seat.
When Jessica found her seat, someone was sitting in the aisle seat, blocking her way. She politely said, "Sorry, could I just get past you?" This is a perfect and polite phrase to use when someone is in your way, whether it's on a plane, in a shop, or on the street.
The flight attendant helped Jessica stow her carry-on bag, as the bins near her seat were full. This is a common occurrence, and the flight attendants are there to help you find space for your bag. They confirmed plenty of space at the back of the bin. The bin here refers to the overhead compartment where you store larger carry-on bags.
Jessica felt relieved once she was settled in her seat and her bag was stowed. She could then relax and get ready for the flight to London.
Fast forward to arrival in London. The airport announcer made an announcement. "Thank you for flying with us. The local time in London is now 2 p.m. Please proceed to baggage claim and then to customs. Have a pleasant stay."
Baggage claim, also sometimes called baggage reclaim, as Jessica saw on a sign, is the area in the airport where you collect your checked luggage after landing. You follow the signs to find this area.
In the baggage claim area, there are usually several moving conveyor belts called carousels. Each carousel is for a specific flight. You need to find the carousel number that matches your flight number. Jessica saw the sign and found her flight's carousel, number 7.
Once your bag appears on the carousel, you grab it. Then the final step before officially entering the country is going through customs and immigration.
Immigration is where border officials check your passport and visa, if you need one, and verify your identity and permission to enter the country. Customs is where officials check your luggage and what you are bringing into the country.
You usually join a queue for immigration first, then proceed to customs. The customs officer asked Jessica some standard questions. What is the purpose of your visit to the UK? Business or pleasure?
This is a very common question to determine why you are entering the country. Are you here for work, business, or for a vacation, a holiday, or visiting family? Pleasure. Jessica replied, "Pleasure. I'm here for a vacation."
The officer also asked, "How long will you be staying in the country?" This asks for the duration of your trip, how many days, weeks, or months you plan to stay. Jessica replied, "I'll be staying for 2 weeks."
Another crucial question at customs is, and do you have anything to declare? Any goods or large amounts of currency? To declare means to officially tell the customs officers if you are bringing in specific items that might be restricted, prohibited, or require you to pay taxes.
This includes things like certain types of food, plants, alcohol, tobacco, or large sums of cash above a certain limit. Every country has different rules about what you can and cannot bring in and what you need to declare. It's very important to check the country's customs regulations before you travel if you plan to bring in anything unusual or valuable.
Jessica replied, "No, nothing to declare, just personal belongings." Personal belongings are just the items you own and use for yourself, like clothes, toiletries, etc., which usually don't need to be declared unless they are new, very expensive, or large quantities.
The customs officer checked her passport and responses and was satisfied, saying, "All right, everything looks fine. Welcome to the United Kingdom. Enjoy your stay."
And just like that, Jessica successfully navigated the entire airport process, from arriving at the terminal, checking in her bag, getting her boarding pass, going through security, finding her gate, boarding the plane, arriving in London, collecting her luggage, and passing through customs.
Her journey shows that even though airports can be big and busy, the processes are logical and repetitive. Knowing the key vocabulary and phrases like check-in, terminal, gate, boarding time, security, baggage claim, and customs makes a huge difference.
And remembering essential phrases like, "Excuse me, could you tell me where are? Is this? Sorry, could I get past you?" is incredibly helpful for interacting with staff and other passengers politely.
Don't forget the importance of following the signs. They are designed to guide you. And always pay attention to the flight information screens for updates.
If you found this episode helpful for practicing your English listening and speaking skills for travel, especially for navigating airports, please remember to subscribe to English in Comfort wherever you listen to podcasts.
We hope this breakdown helps you feel much more confident about having English conversations at the airport during your next trip.
Now that you have a clearer understanding of all the steps and phrases, we invite you to listen to the entire airport conversation one more time. This is your chance to hear it with new ears, picking up on all the details we just explained.
Feel free to pause after each sentence or phrase and repeat it out loud to practice your English speaking. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become.
That was a lot of great practice. We hope you feel more prepared for your next trip.
Traveling can be an excellent opportunity to use and improve your English. Don't be afraid to speak up, ask questions, and interact with people.
Remember, everyone starts somewhere, and making mistakes is a natural part of learning. The goal is to communicate and get where you need to go.
Keep practicing your listening by tuning into our episodes and look for opportunities to speak English whenever you can.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of English in Comfort. We appreciate you being a part of our learning journey.
Keep improving and take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.